So in tonight's video, what I decided to do with my dog was just kind of mess around with the French ring defense of the handler behavior. So in the French ring sport, the defense of the handler is a behavior where the dog is supposed to stay with the handler, but keep an eye on the decoy. Um, so as the decoy walks past the handler, the dog is actually supposed to turn and basically face the decoy as the decoy is, to the side of the handler or behind the handler. So we're starting to create this picture. So I want Medic to keep his eye on his toy as we kind of walk past it. And as you can see, he's starting to position himself behind me. And when he does that, I am clicking rewarding. So we're going to do this in baby steps, just like we do everything else, nice and slow, nice and gradual. And we're going to teach him that when I say watch, it means stay with me, but watch the thing. Watch the toy, watch the helper, watch the decoy, whatever it is. But stay with me. Later on, we will teach him some other behaviors, such as a guard, where he's supposed to stay with the toy and watch the toy, or stay with the decoy and watch the decoy, as well as a revere, which is the same behavior but with barking as well. There are a lot of trainers out there who will tell you that you can't participate in more than one sport, or you really shouldn't participate in more than one sport, because when you teach these different behaviors, you're just going to confuse your dog. And I think that if you're not really sure of what you're doing, I think that can be very true. But if you give the dog a lot of clarity in understanding the differences in each of the behaviors, then it's not hard to be able to participate in each of the different sports. So right here, I don't know if you saw, but Medic was not looking at his toy. He was looking somewhere else, trying to figure out what the hell he's looking at. He was actually looking at his favorite toy, which was sitting up on the shelf. So I figure after this one, we're going to go ahead and give him his favorite toy instead, just to get a little more drive out of him. But like I was saying, if you want to compete in different sports that have different requirements, different rules, and different behaviors, there's nothing that says you can't teach your dog these different behaviors as long as you're able to provide your dog clarity in the differences between them. Your dog should understand the difference between a guard, which would be a silent guard, and a revere, which would be a bark and hold. These behaviors can be very similar with or without the absence of barking, and as long as that is made clear to the dog, then you can use both of these behaviors and you can tell your dog exactly what it is you want them to do. So, for example, when I'm teaching Medic to watch while he is walking with me, so he's in the heel position, but he's looking at the ball, versus being in the heel position and looking at me with my attention heel command, he knows the difference between those commands. The difference is just the difference between him looking at me or him looking at the ball. But still, the clarity and the difference between those behaviors is what allows him to know when he needs to be looking at me versus when he needs to be looking at that ball. Alright, so as we continue to work with this, let me see, I have a little issue with our ball rolling away. It's the only downside to using a ball that does not have a string on it. But as we continue to work on this, I'm going to continue to ask Medic to do this behavior, increasingly more challenging scenarios. We're going to throw in, again, always throw in a little bit of attention healing so he knows that it's not always watch the toy. Sometimes we're just going to heal. Sometimes we're going to ignore the toy. Sometimes you're going to watch the toy. Now, when you release the dog out of the behavior to the reward, this is called an indirect reward. So when he's attention healing with me, and not looking at the toy, and I'm going to reward him with the toy, that's called an indirect reward. When he's watching the toy actively, this is still somewhat of a indirect reward because he has to stay with me, but he is watching his reward directly, so it is a little bit of kind of a combination of the two. See here, we're going to ask him basically almost to be looking backwards from me. So he's almost in the exact opposite from the heel position. Then we're just going to go a little bit further on the next one. And always remember to throw in a little bit of attention healing to make sure our dog still remembers how to do that, even with this new skill. And then we're going to go ahead and start to really challenge him. So we give him that watch command while we're still walking. And now the ball is all the way behind us, so he's going to get all the way into that backwards watch command, watch position. He does a really good job of staying with me. And what I'm trying to get when I'm marking, the behavior I'm really looking for here is I want him to be making physical contact with my leg, because honestly, when he is watching that ball, that is the only way he's going to know whether or not he's with me. So when he has physical contact with his shoulder, with the side of my legs, or the back of my legs, depending on what position he's in, then he knows where he is in relation to me, and that's the only way he's going to know he's still in a good position. And here we're just throwing in a couple of other behaviors just to kind of cleanse our palate a little bit. And as always, if you find this information helpful, or if there's another behavior or skill or anything you'd like some more information on, don't hesitate to hit us up, send us a message, shoot us an email, give us a call, let us know, and I'll be happy to make a video and kind of talk you through it a little bit. So after this, we went a little bit into our silent guard, so we're going to end it here. But check out our website, airbornecanine.com, and don't forget to enjoy your day with your dog.